everybody. Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a music writer.
And I am Jim Love, and I am a keynote and motivational speaker.
And welcome to episode number 36.
3-6 Mafia.
I like it.
I wasn't even in my head before you said that, and for some reason that just really rolled off the tongue.
That's fine.
We are here. We're at 3-6. It's fantastic. And Alan, it is hot as hell in Milwaukee right now.
It is.
It is so. It's 91 degrees today. I know you're not be listening on the day it is, but I walked into Alan's house just from the action of walking to my car, being in my car, and walking up to your front door. I was sweating and I was miserable when I walked out. Like, that's how bad it was.
I believe it.
Really hot.
I went to walk the dog today. He went down to the end of the driveway. He looked back at me and then he just stopped moving.
That's it.
And he said, "No, we're not doing this." And we walked back in the house.
I think humans should do that more often. Just like walk outside like, nope, it's not happening.
I did that and I got fired as an employee. No,
that didn't work out well. But it is, and it's funny because we've been talking. We're not big like, oh, the weather outside, but the last two pods we've like made comments on said weather, and today like it's like unnaturally hot, and I don't like it. I told Alan I would actually rather it be really cold than really hot. He strongly disagreed.
I'm fully
on
summer.
That point. You're a summer guy, but I can't. I hate sweating. I'm wearing jeans, which is probably my fault, but obviously I came from work. So
the last three podcasts, I think we've gone from shorts to like cold weather here,
like the winter
back
hat
to shorts.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a mix. And
so welcome to the Midwest.
That's Milwaukee as we know it. But we are happy to be here. We have a really great guest here with us today that I'm super excited personally to introduce because we share kind of something in common, and just really excited to hear his story and everything that he's about. So I'm going to introduce him. That's my cue to do that.
Yeah, you should do it.
So we have Pedro Pena III with us today, and Pedro is a podcast speaker, voice actor, YouTuber, which he questioned was a thing, and we totally think is a thing.
It's a thing.
And future author, which we're going to dive into.
I like
so
it.
That's what's up. All for My Stuttering Life. So Pedro, welcome to Hustling Sideways.
Wait.
Oh,
we don't have to applaud.
Do your applause thing.
He's got it. He's got it covered for us.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. See.
Oh my gosh!
He's got the soundboard.
He's already development.
He's already one-upped us.
Yeah.
Pedro. Oh,
he's got the director board out.
Perfect.
There it is.
Nice.
Fantastic. Pedro, welcome. We're so happy to have you along with us for the ride today.
I think y'all. This is a huge honor. So I am honored and grateful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So,
Absolutely.
Pedro, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from. Maybe a little bit of your background and what you're currently focusing on at this point in time.
Okay. Y'all were talking about the weather, and if y'all didn't pick up on my accent, I'm from Texas, Houston, Texas, and so it was so hot here yesterday. I saw a bird pick up a worm with a pot holder.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Pedro's got the sound effects ready to roll, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that was hot, y'all. So it's like 112 in the shade.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't complain about 90.
Yeah, this is cool compared to that.
My dog out here, I was asking him, how was it back there? He said rough.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, it's just like super hot. So,
woo!
Okay, I'm done. I
That's
swear.
Fantastic. Oh, for the record, before you get started, I apologize, but we have another state to add to the list. I don't think Texas
this is
new.
our first Texas.
Yeah, so we've been adding new guests. So we're like up in the 16, 17 area of.
We should really
guests.
make a list.
We really should. We'd had one, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, thank you for being our first person from Texas.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So, let's see. Okay, I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
By the water. Padre Island. After high school, school-wise, they didn't have the schools that I wanted to go into. Mental health
Mm-hmm.
and psychology. So after high school, I joined the military, U.S. Air Force.
Awesome.
Go Blue.
Awesome. Yep.
And then after the Air Force, I got out, and I went to school. And so I went to school full time year round for 6 years. I obtained my AA, my BS, and then my master's in industrial organizational psychology.
Okay.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
now I am a national trainer. I mean, how that's a head scratcher. For a person who's for a person that has a stutter, but um, you know, my motto has always been go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Love that. And I'd so well. First of all, thank you for joining the Air Force too. I mean, that's a really awesome thing, and
Yeah.
we are big fans of members of the armed forces here. So
Yes.
thank you for that. I want to point out something that I love the way you just said this. So if you haven't caught on, and I know obviously we have this in different degrees, but Pedro and I both are people who stutter, and and this is really important to me. But I love that you say, instead of stutterer, a person who stutters. I think that's a very important distinction to make, and it's something that I started making a few years ago. And Alan actually just heard me speak last week, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
For the
really,
first time I saw your
really
full
good-
talk
yeah,
and full
and
everything.
He said it was awful, and
No.
so thank you, Alan. No, he said it was. He enjoyed it. He said it was great. But anyway, that's something that I really speak about, and I'm curious, Pedro. I just want to dive into that real quick because you said it, and I love it. Have you, in your life, referred to yourself as a stutterer and switched to a person who stutters, or have you always considered yourself as that? And the reason why I ask is stutterer is sort of like that's what dictates it. You're defined by it, whereas person who stutters, it's just part of your life. So I love that you said it, and I want to curious about more.
Okay, so let me tell you how mine came about. I was 5 years old. I was walking home from school, and we lived in a cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm.
So our house was always at the end. And so I was walking home, I'm 5 years old. I mean, I'm really short, and I'm walking home. And then, there's this white dog on the front lawn of one of the houses. And it's a German Shepherd. It's a full male, huge, white German Shepherd. And so, I'm 5 years old. I look at the dog, as we all do.
Mhm.
And when he looked back at me, he got up.
Uh-oh.
And then I said, okay. So I kept on walking, and then I could see him running after me. And so I booked it. I dropped everything. I was running home, and he jumped on me. My head hit the concrete sidewalk, and he also took a chunk out of my right leg behind my knee.
Wow.
And all that I remember is waking up, and I couldn't speak.
Oh, wow.
And it took about a year because nothing came out. Nothing. The doctors had told my parents that due to the shock and the trauma, I couldn't speak. However, after that year, it was zero fluency. I mean, everything was a block, a repetition, and so I was put into speech therapy. I had 20 years of speech therapy, and so what y'all are hearing is 20 years of really hard work.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Plus, I've done hypnosis, and that was the only time in my entire life that my whole body was at rest.
Really?
The one time.
Wow.
And then I tried voodoo. It did not work. I spent the money. I saw this woman who said she can cure me. I'm 20 years old. I said, look, I got money. And so, I walked into her little shop, and she told me to, take a seat. And so she had a rooster's claw, and she had it over my head and told me, that after she's all done with her chanting, she will grab an egg and a glass of water. And so if she cracks the egg into the glass of water, if it's whole, if it doesn't break, I'm cured. And so I'm like, oh yes, don't break, don't break, don't break. And then she was all done with her chanting, and she grabs an egg. I said, this is it. I'm cured. And so she cracks the egg into the glass of water, and it holds. I'm cured. I gave her the money. I walked out. I said, I'm going to get me a hamburger at Whataburger. I mean, I am cured.
Let's go.
And so I walked to the counter, and guess what happened?
You weren't cured.
Nothing came out. Nothing came out.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, I mean, we, as in me, I tried everything to get rid of it. There were times when I would communicate only with a Post-it. I would carry Post-its and a pen in my pocket, and that is how I would communicate. I would tell the person that I lost my voice. And so, I wrote everything down. I did it everywhere, the grocery store, but never do it at a bank. Because if you do it at a bank and you hand that note to the teller, sorry, Jesus, they will think that you're robbing them, and they had to call the police, the security guard. And if you thought I couldn't talk then, just wait until they pulled you into an office. And I really couldn't talk.
That's when nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
That's when nothing is coming out.
My goodness.
And then I spent a couple of years just whispering, because when I whisper, I don't stutter, because the speech is all fluent.
Wow.
And there was a time when I use accents. It's quite lovely. When I do accents, I don't stutter.
Huh.
When I'm acting,
Yeah.
I don't stutter, because I'm not Pedro. I am that character that I am portraying.
Fascinating.
And
Yeah.
and so growing up, all I heard was I am a stutterer. I am a stutterer, and everyone told me I would never get a job. I would never get married. I would never have a life. They had marked me as having mental retardation. They called me stupid. They called me. They told me that I was slow. And so, if you hear that from age 6 all the way to high school, you tend to believe it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all through school, stuttering. I would eat my school lunch in the janitor's closet.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was away from the bullies. And no one wanted to hang around the kid who couldn't talk. So all my buddies were the janitors. They were awesome. I learned all about Comet and Clorox and bleach, and they taught me things that I use today. And so growing up in school with having a severe nothing coming out. And in school, as all of y'all know, you have to give your introduction on the first day of school.
Oh.
So I did that one time. It was horrible. I was repeating and blocking, and then you hear everyone laughing at you. And then I told myself, that ain't never going to happen again. Because Pedro is now in survival mode.
Yeah.
So what I did, on the first 2 days of school, I missed. all through school. I did it in undergrad. I did it in graduate school. I did it. I did it in the corporate world. and and you know, you know, for me, it was I had to I had to persevere. I had to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And school was very dark. Without having any, buddies or anything. And my stutter was so horrible that, one night I grabbed my dad's gun and I said, that was it. That was it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm tired of the pain, of the mocking and the teasing. I'm tired. I am exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who stutter will tell you it's draining mentally, physically, psychologically from the time that you wake up until the time you put your head on that pillow. Your whole body is tense, every organ. And so, my, junior year in high school, it's like I'm done. So I grabbed my dad's 38, and it was midnight, and so I walked down the road, and there was an overpass. And so I told myself I will go under the overpass, and then I'll be done with it. And so the whole time I'm crying. Because, with having a stutter, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't talk on the phone. I couldn't talk to people. I was isolated. And so I reached the ramp that goes up, under the overpass, and there was a homeless man. And where I lived, we don't have homeless people. It's all, oil and gas, huge homes, huge SUVs. We didn't have homeless people in my area. However, on that night, under the overpass, there was a homeless man. And he asked what I was doing, because I, had the gun in my hand. And so I told him, I'm done. I'm tired of everything. It's all dark. And he told me, and I'll never forget this. Whew, he said, you're here for a purpose.
Wow.
You are here on this earth for a purpose. And I looked at him. I turned around. I walked back home. I put the gun up. I woke up my dad. I got a beating. and what I believe is that people are put in your path for a reason.
Yes.
They're put in your path. And so what he told me is that I have a purpose. And so the darkness, it turned into light. And that's when I had told myself, I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to join the military. And that's a whole other podcast. I'm going to school, and I'm going to make something of myself and prove everyone wrong. And so you had asked a very specific question. When did I switch from I am a stutterer to I am a person who stutters? It took the age of 40.
Wow.
40. It took me 35 years. When I woke up on my birthday, I said, I'm done. I no longer care what people are talking about me. if you mock me, laugh at me, that's on you. You have your own demons. I know Pedro is awesome and that I have a stutter. It doesn't define who I am, it's just what I have. And from that day on, I kid you not, 35 years of shame, guilt, anger, frustration, they were gone. They
Wow.
were gone. And from that day on, I learned to push myself out of my comfort zones
Mm-hmm.
to do things that people told me that I would never do. You know, like, order at a restaurant or
Mm-hmm.
go through a drive-through or ask for directions. I mean, all that. Every day, I did one thing to step out of my comfort zone, and if I failed, I learned from it,
Mm-hmm.
applied what I learned to the next one, and then if I got a win, I did my happy dance, and then win. I mean, I was I was building momentum,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and and you know what? I'm confident, but I still have a stutter.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yep.
That is okay. Because I know I am hashtag awesome. I know that what I say matters.
Mm-hmm.
And, it may take me half an hour to say my first name. That is okay. Pedro going to be all right.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm like,
There's so much to unpack in there, but
it's awesome.
a deep story, a moment that, the chance of running into somebody who also, by the way, is probably very down on his luck
Mhm.
in that moment, and to say, for that person to come in and change your life in
Yeah.
that way and really save your life is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And like words matter, like I
Yes.
think that's like such a, that, how many words was that? You have a purpose. You're here for a purpose. 4 words, right? That quite literally change your life. I mean, like 100%.
Right. I mean, that is the only reason why I'm here talking
Mhm.
with you two today. The only reason, because I had a plan. I had a
Yeah.
plan. I was done.
That
Wow.
is just awesome. Now, like, and I just think that's such a, generally for everyone listening here, a good call out that everything that we say throughout our day, whether it's someone we like or don't like, whatever it might be, you never know what someone's gonna remember and
Right.
and hold on to, and clearly make an impact. And like that became your turning point of like, I can do it. And I'm like up over here applauding everything you were saying, because it's true. Like you are Pedro now. You do your thing. Hashtag awesome. All those things that we're identifying with over here, and you don't care what people think. And I think that is so important, because there's a lot of people that have their adversity, obstacles, right, whatever it might be, and stuttering is yours, and stuttering to a degree is mine too. And we all have our thing, and but we don't care what people think, and that comes when you get a little bit older. But I think when someone can really get that in their head, that like, I don't, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to live out the dream that I want, and I don't really care what you all think of me. Like, that's power. That's like real power that comes through it. And obviously it took a little while to get there, but like how great of a moment is that for you to like have that being, because you've been held back for so long, and now you're able to really move forward and just not give a crap what
Yeah.
anyone thinks. Is
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. See, and you just hit it, just hit it right on the nail. Words matter, because you could have that one person, and they can tell you, "Ugh, you don't know how to talk."
Mm-hmm.
Those words live rent free
Yeah.
in your brain for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in bed at 2 a.m. in the morning. You turn over and you hear the words in your head that live rent free. You don't know how to talk. And that is when you you learn, because it's tough. It's tough. You learn how the negative self-talk, I talk harder to myself than what other people do.
Yeah.
However, if I had heard it from another person, it would completely just devastate me for days and weeks and months and years. Those few words. And, people don't understand the power that is behind those words. Because if you are not at that level of, confidence and, I can do this, if you are not there, it will knock you down. It will walk all over you and keep on until you tell it to stop.
Yeah. I just one last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into some of the work that you're doing right now. I wrote a talk, like a commencement speech, about 2 years ago for a group of graduating seniors. It was right in the middle of COVID, so it'd be virtual, et cetera. And one of the things I wrote about was how they can change people's perspectives. And in this concept that you bring up, I call it the first 5 seconds. In the fact that you can literally make or break someone's, in this case, life with 5 seconds. For the words you say, it's like showing the acceptance right away.
Yeah.
So if you accept what someone says and you accept who they are, boom, they're good. The minute you shut them down, they're done. Like, that's it. And it's within that first moment, and you can dictate everything. And I found that with my work life, my personal life, my faith life, all of that. When I'm meeting someone new, I got 5 seconds, and I better turn up on my kindness,
Yes.
and that's all it takes. I mean, think about the times you walked in a room and you're shut down. Like, in 5 seconds, you're not going to talk again. You're not going to share your thoughts.
I can immediately think of JV soccer freshman year.
There you go.
Kid came up to me and was like, "Get off my field."
That's it.
First year, first practice. That was the first 5 seconds, first words.
That's all it takes, and you'll never forget it. Like,
never forgot it.
And it's insignificant in that moment for him, but but it impacted everything. And it's a good reminder, Pedro. I mean, that's so, yours is to such a higher level of really, you can impact someone right away. That's all it takes. And it doesn't take that much effort, which is the scary part about it. Like it doesn't take that much to make that first 5 seconds, but the minute you do it, and if you choose to make it kind, or if you choose to make it mean-spirited, you're going to impact someone immediately. So I wrote about that, and it's something we can all do every day.
Yes.
We have an impact like that. So that's just something I just totally think it relates to everything you just said. And it's this concept that really can impact change on a daily basis for everyone, quite literally in the world, which sounds like so, broad, but it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a little bit what you're doing. You now with My Stuttering Life, you mentioned you like to challenge yourself. I can think of no greater challenge than for being a person who stutters to start a podcast.
Yes.
Because not only, there's your challenge internally, but then the reception of it, I think, immediately comes to mind as the challenge. But what motivated you? What got you into saying, you know what, podcasting, we're doing it?
They told me I couldn't do it.
Oh, I love that.
They told me nobody wants to hear a person who cannot talk on the radio. They told me nobody wants to hear people heavy breathing. Well, there are some people who want to hear that, but they want to hear people heavy breathing. Trying to say hello because it's my H's. On the radio. And so I said, watch me, because I first started out on YouTube. I did my first video. Let me tell y'all, that was rough. I did not do another video for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
That's how rough that first one is. And then, as I kept on doing it, out of my comfort zone, I got better and better and better. And people always tell me that, practice makes perfect. I said, no, I do not believe in perfection. Practice makes permanent. Because if you keep on practicing, you're going to get better and better. And so after YouTube, I thought, okay, let me target those who are driving.
Yeah.
Because, the, there are a lot of people who don't do YouTube while they're driving, and so I thought, well, okay, I will do a podcast, and so I was, you know, you know, to telling a bunch of people, and they got, oh no, no, you can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't do that. No one is going to listen. No one is going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, so here I go. So I am a very type A person. So I had my notebook. Here is what I need to do. Here's how I'm going to do it. So I reached out and I found mentors. Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting,
Mm-hmm.
and David Hooper from the Big Podcast. I went through their training, and let me tell you, it helped me prepare to start my own podcast called My Stuttering Life. My whole goal was to let other people who stutter know you are not alone.
Yeah.
Take it from Pedro. I have done it all. I am now 51 years old. I have over 40 years with having a stutter. So, I got some stories, things happened to Pedro. So I thought I'll do a podcast. And then the topics, I hit the big ones, job interviews.
Yeah.
Ordering at a restaurant, a drive-through order. I hit job interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I tackle the big issues. And dating, holy mac and cheese. Dating is a whole other issue. But I come from the perspective of a person with having a stutter, and here's how I navigated those waters, and so that way you don't have to feel alone, because Pedro has gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to tell you what happened, and then I'm at the end. I give a call to action. I keep it positive. My goal is I want to lift
Mm-hmm.
you up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to support you. I am in your corner cheering you on. You may not see me, you may not hear me, but no, I'm in your corner cheering you on. And let me tell you, my podcast went, from just a couple downloads, because it's very specific, y'all. It's like super specific
Very niche.
podcast. And so I went from like one or two downloads, now I have over 40,000 downloads.
Wow.
My podcast is in 58 countries on 6 continents. My goal is I need that one person from Antarctica, so that way I'm on
We're looking
all
at you.
7 continents. Because
Amazing.
my goal for the podcast, it was to talk about my life and to have guests who also stutter.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, when we get together, it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's all about courage.
Mm-hmm.
It's about resilience. Ooh, I have goosebumps. It's about resiliency. We all have a light.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a light. And so each guest has a stutter. And we talk about everything that has an impact on us. And that's everything. We're talking the telephone.
Yeah,
We're talking, because we each share our journeys. And that's the awesome part, because not only are we sharing our journeys, we are making a connection.
Mm-hmm.
A connection that is global. I get emails from Pakistan, Australia, Brazil, Ireland. They got, whoa, I just found your podcast because it's super specific. I just now found it, and I am binge hearing all of your episodes, and they are fantastic because I thought I was the only one. And let me tell y'all, when I was growing up in Corpus Christi, Texas, I thought I was the only person on the planet that had a stutter because I had speech therapy all through school. And so, you know, I'm much older than y'all. And so in my day, when I went to grade school, we had a PA, one PA, I mean, all over the school. And they would say, Pedro Pena to speech therapy in the counselor's office. The entire school, everyone knew that I had speech therapy. And, all through school, I thought I was the only one until I met another person who stuttered in my 20s. It was on the sidewalk. And, here in Texas, we are friendly. I greet everybody. And so I put out my hand, and then he put out his hand, and nobody spoke. Well, because I couldn't say my name. And so, he couldn't say his name. And so I could see in his eyes the pain, the frustration, the agitation. I could see, and the only words that came out were, I know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
And he had tears. I had tears, and the words finally came out. But I mean, in my 20s, I had met another person just like me.
That's so powerful. I mean, that's a big moment. And I mean, that's like what you just explained. You want to empower people, lift people up, let them know you're not alone. That's your purpose,
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you're living out everything that you had experienced and keep going, And I know you're up to a couple other things too. You talked about being a voice actor, potentially writing a book. Like, you want to walk us through that here about what some of your future plans are here? I'm so curious.
Okay, so, it's like a broken record, but the other broken record, it's the another one, as my grandma would say. It's the another one. I was telling people that I want to get into voice acting, and they said, no one's gonna hire you. I said, who are these people around me that keep on telling me this? I need to get better friends. And so, they were telling me, I mean, you are not going to make it. I said, watch me. And so in January, I reached out to a school here in Houston called those S words, Such a Voice, And so I reached out, emailed them from my email address, mystutteringlife@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And so the guy who had he was curious, emailed me back, and he was I'm asking why I wanted to go into it, and I couldn't even say my name. I was heavy breathing, I was repeating, I was blocking, and so he was telling me already, I got to be honest with you. And I said, no. I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. And they had emailed me a script to, practice, and rehearse. And then I had my telephone consultation. And so then he calls me, and we do it over the telephone. And, he hears me stuttering. He's like, yeah, I want to be honest with you. And so I said, I appreciate that, but hold on, I still haven't read my script. It's like, okay,
keep going.
And so I read the script, and it's a short script, 2 lines, but I nailed it. And I didn't hear anything after I was done. Like, hello? And then he's like, yeah. He's like, how? I said, okay, so here's my thing. When I'm acting, I'm not Pedro. I am a whole other person. I am a character, and that character does not stutter. And he was just like,
Wow.
Yeah,
his
I'm
head
sure.
just exploded, and I told him, I know I'll be an outlier. I know this. I mean, I live in reality. I know that I have, challenges and obstacles, because cold reads, woo, they are my nemesis. I am repeating, I'm blocking, but when I'm in my studio and I have my script and I do my breathing, my diaphragmatic breathing, that's my BFF, and then I hit record. Let me tell y'all, I don't know how to put it into words, but it's magic.
Yeah.
There is a joy to acting. And I mean, I hit record and it just, every word flows like butter.
That's
Everything
awesome.
just comes out. And then after I'm all done, I'm Pedro. And what does Pedro do? He's got a stutter. And so, y- you know, and so based on on that, on that, on that read, he he told me, Pedro, you are being accepted into our school. I
Wow.
said, oh,
It's amazing.
awesome,
Look at-
awesome, awesome.
Hell yeah.
And so I am halfway, in my voiceover schooling, and let me tell you, my coach is amazing. Erica Ward. Ward, she's amazing. And I mean, I have taught her about stuttering, and she's teaching me about voice acting, and it has just been awesome. And so later in the year, I'm going to record my demos professionally, and then Pedro is out. I am.
Yes.
I mean,
Let's go.
I am gonna hit all of the major networks, VH1, HBO. I mean, I'm hitting all of them and said, look, you want me on your team.
Sweet.
You need
I like it.
me on your team because I am #awesome, and whatever you need, if it's a script, and if I can hit record and do it in my studio, it's gold. If you want me to cold read, if you book a studio for 30 minutes, it's gonna take me 3 hours. But guess what? I'm gonna give you the best read in those 3 hours. And so I mean, I cannot wait. I know that I'm gonna be successful because I'm gonna rock it out.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's fantastic. That's exactly the attitude right there.
Yeah,
It's like,
the thing that is
what makes
jumping
it-
out to me more than anything, and just getting to, because this is all relatively new to me. To be very transparent, it's never really been my reality. Just hasn't. But this is fascinating to me to see, like, one, that you're able to do this, that you're able to do it this well. That you can put on a character or an accent or a voice, and you're not Pedro. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens. Like, that whole concept is fascinating to me, that you're able to pull that, together and do that. And to really, but more than that, I think the thing that jumps out to me is just how positive you are being about this. And like, you're connecting a community in doing so, to have the listenership that you have as well. And you're helping people just by being on, just by hitting record. Whether that's voice acting, whether that's whatever, you're helping people do something very profound and get connected. It's unbelievable. It's a impossible thing or seemingly impossible thing that you were making possible.
I thank you, and my podcast, it is a blessing. I get to do this. I get to hop on the microphone and talk with these amazing individuals. I mean, I've had podcasts, episodes last 30 minutes and 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Is that the record?
That is the record. Thank you, Ryan. Howley. He's hashtag awesome. And lots of people have asked me, how do I edit my podcast? It's like I don't. You hear what you hear.
That's it.
Right.
If I'm having a block for like 8 minutes, you're going to hear 8 minutes of silence.
I love it.
I have my intro, I have my outro, and then the only things I take out is, if we can be real here.
Mm-hmm.
If they burp,
Yeah.
if they pass gas, if they have their water bottle and they like
Yeah.
squeeze it, I take all that out. Everything else, you will hear us repeat and block and heavy breathe and block and repeat and heavy breathe. And I have received such positivity from all over the world. You are like me. You are like me. And you are doing awesome. I can do the same.
That's great.
It's hard work. I mean, I want to all know this is hard work. I read out loud every day, 1 page out loud every day. I do my positive affirmations. I do my mindful meditation and my diaphragmatic breathing. I do that every day. I do it to handle everything. Life is stressful. Life is chaotic, and it just helps me keep peace because if you are a person who stutters, you live second by second. You live minute by minute, hour by hour. You don't know. I mean, it's random. It comes out when it comes out. There is no control. I don't have a button anywhere. I mean, it just comes out whenever it wants to come out.
Yep.
I have days everything comes out. I have days nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. And I am a national trainer. So I train hospital personnel. I train doctors and nurses. I train on Zoom. And so this is what I do. And it works every time. I have an icebreaker. Hi, good morning. I'm Pedro Pena. I will be doing your Zoom presentation. I do have a speech impediment, so I may have a hard time. If I get hung up on any word, give me 8 hours, and hopefully that word will come out. But if you know what I'm trying to say, help you, because I believe that teamwork makes the dream work. And then also, it's not your internet connection, it's Pedro. And so after I put that out there, it's out there. And then what I can do is I can focus on my PowerPoint presentation. And then if I get hung up, they help me out.
Yeah.
They help me out. Now, we're all different. We are all different. I know a lot of people who have a stutter and they don't like that. But I'm old, y'all. I'm exhausted. If I get hung up on the word, I'm going to pass out. So I need for you to help me, because I cannot pass out on Zoom. It is not a good look for me. So I encourage them to help me out if I have a block. And it is beautiful. It is wonderful. It's awesome.
Great. That's great. I approach mine similarly, with humor. It's always been my equalizer whenever a stutter comes out for me. So I love that. I love how transparent you are. And I'm also very excited to be on your podcast in about 2 weeks or so, and can't wait for our conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to have an awesome time.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Well, Pedro, it's been a joy. If someone wants to connect with you, obviously, you have your email and do you have a website, or if you want to just rattle some of those off now of what the best way is for someone to connect with you?
It is all the same. It's My Stuttering Life.
Awesome.
If you type that in, everything will pop up.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Well,
this is awesome. This has been seriously inspiring for me as somebody that doesn't have that adversity, but still amazing to hear your story. Amazing to hear what, how you've pushed through and persevered and done all of these things. And that you're still taking it even further, going into voice acting, doing everything that you want to do. Amazing stuff. My heart feels a little fuller today than most days. It's amazing.
Awesome.
This has been awesome, Pedro. We really, really love it.
Yes.
And I am going to be checking out the podcast. They've got an award for me. No, I'm kidding. I love it.
It's for you. I have your address. I know where you live. I will mail this out to you.
And the sense of humor to go through such difficulty too. Amazing stuff. So I'm checking out your podcast.
Yes.
If nobody else, you got one listener.
Not only because I'm just generally.
I'm going to skip your episode.
That's what I thought. He won't listen to ours, but he'll move on. I get it.
Hey, there we go. No, I'm going to be checking out your podcast, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. If people are listening to this podcast for the first time, they can go ahead and you can follow us everywhere. We're Hustling Sideways on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. And if you want to check us out, you can go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. You can rate us with 5 stars,
Correct.
as we've said before.
Yeah, there's no other rating to give. That's
Only rating you can give us is 5 stars. It's
a glitch in the system, but
it's
way. Yeah.
5 stars or nothing, but we prefer 5.
Yeah.
And go ahead and be a friend and tell a friend about this podcast because that helps as well. Pedro, thank you so much. Jim, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alan. We always forget to thank each other.
Well, now
we are. Yeah.
Turning a new leaf.
Yeah.
It only took us 36 episodes.
36 later, we're good.
It's all good. I want to just, tell y'all, thank you. This has been a huge honor. And if y'all are ever in Texas, I will treat y'all to barbecue.
Ooh,
I can't turn that down.
We love that.
I was just in Texas a couple of years ago.
I'm actually going to be there. No, not Texas. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to. Anyway, we'll talk. I'm going somewhere else that's not Texas. And in my head it was. It's actually Tennessee. But anyway.
Not close at all.
Not even close. Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Thank you guys for listening. And Jim.
Keep on hustling.
We will see you next time.